created you.
Assalamualaikum, and I hope you all are having a nice day. Today our group 8 will be presenting about the cases that involve accidents that took place at a workplace. And for my group, we've decided to do some research on the explosion that happened at Pengerang Petronas Oil and Gas Complex in Johor not too long ago. Let us first start with the introduction. What is HSE and how is it related to this case? Well, HSE, also known as Health, Safety and Environment, is a methodology that emphasizes the occupational setting and the health and safety of the employee. The objective of this video project is to identify the occurrence and aftermath of our case study, which was reported in Malaysia, by listing the possible consequences and preventive measures to prevent similar events from happening in the future, as well as be well informed about the legislation and acts in accordance with HSE. Moving on to the details of the event. Happened on March 15, 2020 around 10:50 p.m. on a Sunday. An explosion and fire occurred at the hydrodiesel theatre unit plant at the Pengerang Integrated Complex, Johor Bahru. This explosion resulted in a total of 7 victims, which includes 5 gone missing and estimated that 1 was critically injured and 1 got out safely while sustaining a minor injury. The State Fire and Rescue Department team found the explosion and fire had occurred at the plant diesel hydrotheater unit, which uses hydrogen to remove sulfur waste from raw diesel. A gas tank leak outside the plant caused the explosion, damaging several houses in Kampung Lepau near Pengerang. Emergency response team Petronas Rapid Pengerang has been activated immediately to the incident location and the fire was completely extinguished.
Next, I will talk about the potential consequences. The first question is, what was the worst that could have happened? The worst that could have happened on that day is the death of all 7 victims and huge property loss by the residents living near Pengerang due to the explosion, resulting in damage of their residences. If damage control and rescue operations were not executed immediately upon the occurrence, multiple explosions could have been triggered in other operating units due to the heat or flammable gas released from the incident site, resulting in more casualties and possible total loss of the refinery complex. The second question is, what prevented the worst from happening? The assistance of the 33 firefighters, 9 trucks and 37 personnel, along with 8 trucks from Pengerang Central Emergency and Fire Services, to extinguish the fire immediately. Additionally, the fire triggered did not spread to other gas tanks to cause a second explosion, which could have made the situation even worse. The next question is, how often could such an event occur? The recurrence potential. The recurrence potential is defined as the possibility of an incident repeating again. For example, suppose the authorities fail to notice the incident's hazard and don't propose additional safety measures to be put in place to prevent such accidents to repeat in near future. In that case, it can be rated as a high level of recurrence.
The severity potential of this incident has the highest percentage due to high number of deaths. Besides, the victims would face severe burn injuries or disabilities. They may also experience post-traumatic stress disorder. As for population potential, we must have a broader perspective and consider direct and indirect factors. Starting with the natural stage, this group includes the victims, their family members, and ultimately the employer they are employed. Following this incident, authorities should ensure that the premises comply with all applicable legal requirements. Next, an emergency site plan must be created and updated routinely by the personnel with effective control measures. Risk assessment should also be conducted routinely. Lastly, portable gas leak detectors should be utilized at the project sites for prevention of further explosion incidents.
For the law and regulations, underneath the Act, all business-related setback, dangerous occasion, work-related hurting or work-related ailment and damage must be point by point and recorded. A couple of conditions might be named, either a harm or hurting or contamination, however not both, contingent on the idea of the event that conveyed the condition. In addition, when someone is on harm or whatsoever which can cause any conflict in action, there are procedure of action is which those provided under Malaysian law. An employer promptly advises the nearest office or occupational safety and health of any accident, hazardous events, occupational infection or occupational disease that has occurred or is probable to appear in the workplace. However, in the Pengerang Integration Complex accident, the cause was not stated or identified. But following the NPFA and the Dust Exploration Act by Dodge Malaysia, we may assume that there was an explosion and the chain of events is as follows. In conclusion, the explosion and fire at Rapid Pengerang were unexpected accidents due to the lack of safety management. The project site gas line leak is the problem root. Fortunately, the authorities handled the tragedy safely and effectively, and Petronas accepted full responsibility for the incidents. However, it is evident from this case that if safety management is neglected and supervisor fails to implement safety measures, it will result in disaster for the area, the local population, and the environment. As a result, taking safety precautions is essential to avoid endangering the lives of the personnel and neighboring